IRA investing. Greetings, class. Greetings, class. Come on in. It is Sunday evening. Sunday evening, we are talking about real estate investing tips and strategies with usually Dan Borrero, but we got his business partner and brother, Dave Borrero, tonight. So, Dave and I were just chit chatting. We're going to bring y'all in. But, Dave, we were talking about IRA investing. You know, it's weird, dude. I learned that back in 2006, right? I didn't know it was special. I just thought it was what it was. Right? I was hanging around super ultra wealthy. I never forget Lonnie Scruggs, man. He just told me, Chris, I'm going to show you something that should be illegal. Sit down, show me this stuff. You know, and I say that to say, Dave, it just all depends on your environment.
I guess it's like you say, right? It's based on what you're accustomed to,
All I
the
knew.
risk factor of investment, right?
That's all I
Risk
knew.
tolerance,
Yeah,
right?
risk tolerance.
But it's funny because somebody would say, "Well, I'm not going to take the money out, even though it's legal, because what if I fail?" But what they don't
Mm.
realize is, what if someone else that's managing the money fails? It's the same thing, right? And you have no control. You just have to sit back and say, "Okay, you guys failed, and your
Wow.
recourse is
Wow.
okay." At least if you failed,
Wow.
you've learned something, knowledge, tools in your belt,
Wow.
and the chance of you failing the next round is little to none, right? Because
Wow.
the more you fail, the more you learn.
That is so deep, Dave. You are really talking. Well, what recourse do you have when these big investing houses, UAM assets, AUM, assets under management, AUM, what recourse do you have?
To that, I mean, you nothing. Suck it up, buttercup, and okay, you guys messed up. It's okay. I knew my risk. I knew my risk when I gave
Mm-hmm.
you the money. I was told,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, it came true. But don't worry, it'll all come back. That's usually what they tell you. You're in this for the long time. You're in it for the long haul. Don't worry about it, right? I don't know.
What makes them?
It's if you're going to fail at something, might as well be you, as opposed to someone that you don't know at all, never met,
Never will meet.
never will, have no idea what they did with the money other than that it's in some fund that they told you. Right? And I mean, I guess it's true. Over time, you're probably not going to lose, right? Assuming you're not looking to take that money out at the time that you're losing,
Yeah.
right? Um, but over, you could take that money, reinvest it on yourself in properties, whether it's a holding the property or flipping the property, what have you. I think you're going to make a lot more money.
That's something, right? So, class today, we've got Dave Borrero. He's a multi-million-dollar real estate broker. I'm going to big you up. I know he ain't going to do it, so I'm going to big you up. He does
Yeah.
several transactions throughout the month regarding 800,000 and better. What's your cheapest house you've sold this year, Dave?
Personally, 965.
Nice. You know what, Dave? I was going to ask your brother this. Listen, guys, today we're talking about real estate investing, all things real estate markets. I'm going to put a phone number up here. We would love to answer your questions. You've got Dave Borrell. The man's been a broker. How long you been? You've been an investor since 1990, but how long you been
I've been
in?
an investor since 1989, and I've had my license to literally technically sell for other people probably 10 years,
Okay.
11 years now. But for me, it's like from day one. Put it this way, my instructor, when I took the class,
You
I,
teach
I
him.
bought his house as a short sale.
I'm envisioning you in class like, Dave, can I talk to you for a minute?
No, because he was explaining a case and trying to, basically explain, how this works.
Mhm.
And I said to him, and he said it was a real case. He started with it, this is a real case because he was an agent. And I said after class, I says, well, hey, you said it was a real case. Is there any chance I might be able to buy that? And he said, you're serious? And I'm like, yeah, I'm serious.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
What we do.
So my brother and I bought it for cash. It
You
was his
guys,
own house.
that's a good headline. Real estate student buys instructor's house. That's crazy. So we're going to be talking tonight. Dave and I will go about what we're doing today. Dave, can I tell them about your day a little bit? Can we go
Yeah,
over your day?
why
A
not? Yeah.
$100,000 day. How many? Here's the thing. That's why I love talking to you and your brother. How many people on planet Earth have $100,000 days in real estate?
Yeah.
Not many.
It's so it's funny. So we spoke earlier, and then I have a deal. I'm working with one of the agents that worked for me. He brought the deal in. So he finds the deal. I find the investors. And
To do what? What are the investors doing? Buying?
so he finds it. It's this one's an estate. So he he sends out campaigns to find
Motivated sellers.
estates and
Yeah.
anybody that's foreclosure, short sales, whatever. He finds them. He brings them in. So this one was a good one. It's an $80,000 spread on the transfer, and the guy that I sold it to said, "Hey, well, if I'm buying this one, let's sell the one we bought 5 years ago." So that one is $1 million buy. So that one we get 6% on the sale.
You got both sides.
Right, assuming we get both sides, but I already have the buyer who's the tenant that lives in the building. So that's a 6% spread, and there's an $80,000 spread on the transfer from yeah. I don't know. I say it's not that difficult. I mean, life is difficult. Creating relationships. Once you have the relationships, because that's everything, and trust. Trust is probably the biggest thing.
Well, Dave, it's amazing when I listen to you and I watch you, I see how you move. People trust you with millions of dollars of assets, and your persona is not like, I need this. Like, I need to do this. We got to do this deal. I think that is, I want you to explain just how that kind
So
of.
never desperate, right? Never desperate. And whether it's a $200,000 deal or $5 million deal, I mean, we just did a $5 million deal like 6 months ago, and it's the same thing. It's never.
Good God.
It's never desperate. It's just it's truthful, right? If you're truthful with people and you're passionate about what you do, when people look at you, all they see is a real estate guy. They're like, sometimes they don't know your name, but they know you do real estate. And that's what I tell everyone on my team. Just if people don't look at you and see real estate, you're doing something wrong. So when people see me, so there's an automatic, somewhat of a trust factor, even if they don't know me, because they know I'm successful in what I do. They know people that have used our services or maybe sold properties to myself and my brother. And relationship is everything. Like the guy that we sold this house to, he just went to see it today at 6:00. But he bought it in his mind even before he went.
Because he know you're an extension of his arm, and you kind of know the deal. And
right, we've sold him probably 7 different properties in the last 8 years. He pays cash for everything, and he knows. If I say to him, "Buy this. This is what you would do. This is what I would do. This is how I would handle it," and he's like a sponge. He listens and he does. And for that reason, it works out for him.
That is so cool.
But I wasn't expecting him to turn around and say, "Well, instead of me, let's do a 1031 on the other house I bought." So the one he bought that 3 or 4 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, and he paid $600 for it. But it's worth over $1 million now.
Yeah.
So he'll sell that, but it's all. I always say I don't build houses. I don't sell houses. I build relationships. Relationships. Yeah. Don't chase the check. Chase the process. The process is the check.
You guys are getting $1 million worth of game today. With Dave start talking, I shut up. And you real low key, dude. So listen, y'all call in. Here's the number right there. Get your questions answered from Dave Borrero, and I'll chime in too. But Dave is here. The man does numbers. He does numbers in big, big. I'm like, one of y'all's buildings, Dave, is like 10. Well, I don't want to say 10, like four of my properties, right? I mean, you have one asset. Now I have to bring four to equal.
Yeah, yeah.
Just the numbers you guys have.
Oh, it's a difference, right? We're in two different stratospheres.
That's true.
It's two different worlds, but I mean, it's all
Can you?
about doors and
Yeah, all
so.
of the numbers. I can you love on me a little bit? I was going to ask Dan this tonight, but Dave, as I get older and I start doing more deals and bigger deals, my spirit is I'm getting the air sucked out of me as I approach doing managing millions of dollars of real estate. I am beginning to sense that $1 million in real estate, Dave, it is starting to feel like not a lot of money. And I just want to, as you've passed that a long time ago. Can you just kind of give me some words of encouragement? All people, 'cause when I see a 1.2, 1.3 now, I'm just like, it doesn't even have a sting anymore.
You say that, and I was talking about this a couple weeks ago, and I remember saying, one day I'm gonna have $1 million in cash, and then I'll be rich.
And I'm like, I would have made it. I
Yeah,
did it.
yeah. Like if I ever was able to accumulate like liquid cash, $1 million, like I'm gonna be done. Like that's when I'm buying my Lamborghini. I'm gonna do something stupid, right? Like that is. But then it's like you get there, and it's like you realize that it's the love of the game that you love more than anything. It's and in today's numbers, $1 million house is not really even $1 million house. We sell $1 million houses every day. They're probably they're probably like $700,000 houses, but because of
Mm.
at the end of the day, what someone's willing to pay for something is the value of it, right?
You saying the $1 million house, the value today in our mind is not, you saying it's not even really worth that today?
No, I mean it's obviously worth it because we sell it every day. My
Hmm.
point is, if someone's willing to pay for that, if someone's willing to pay $1 million for a home, then that is the value of it.
Hmm.
But in reality, I'm looking at it like where we were just 4 years ago,
Four
right?
years ago.
It's
Yeah.
like I'm selling homes that I sold 2 years ago for $200,000 more.
Good God.
It's almost crazy.
Good God.
Listen to this: the $5 million house that we just sold, we had that on the market for 2.5 million, 3.5 million, and then we put on the market that every year the seller just kept going up. And then he said 5.2. I said, "You are insane, but I'll try." And he sold it at 5.2, the same house that he was going to sell 3 years ago for 2.5.
Wow, Dave.
Cash buyer.
Oh,
So, you know, to answer your question, I guess $1 million today is not what $1 million was yesterday, right? When we had those envisions, when we thought about that, you know, I don't know, I don't even know what minimum wage was probably $5, $6, right? Like, who knows? But it's $1 million is just not $1 million. But I think it's the love of the game, Chris. That's what it is. It's like the commissions come in. The commissions come in. I have my secretary. She takes care of all that, or my assistant does all that, and she's like, "Hey, we didn't get this check yet." I was like, "Well, just call them and tell them to figure out. Call the title company."
yeah.
I never worry about that because the title company is not taking your money, right? So
They on the hook.
yeah,
You got them by the balls.
they would call and say, "Are you going to come to closing? Are you going to come pick up the check?" I'm like, "I'm not sending anyone. You can mail it."
Just mail it.
They're like, "Oh, it's $30 if you want it wired." I'm like, "Don't wire it.
Just
Mail it.
mail it.
I don't need the money, and I'm not paying you $30."
Listen, guys, you got Dave and me on here tonight. Get your questions in. We're going to keep going here, but I want to know the questions. We got one here, but you can come on live. The number is 757-204-1332. 757-204-1332. Give us a call. Come ask your question about what you got going on in real estate investing. What are you doing? How can Dave help you? If you have Dave on the line, I promise you won't get him after this. The dude's doing, I told you he had $100,000 day. 100,000. I'm talking to.
Yeah, it's I mean, investing is more and more of my own clients. What they do is they look me up before they come out. I mean,
They
and
already
they,
know you.
yeah, well, then they start talking to me about investing. It's, but I mean, it's like you. If someone talks, yeah, you're not that, you're not that interested in much, and they talk about real estate. It's like years ago up. It's and we're just so willing to just give away the information. I was asked to speak for NAROP one day,
Uh-huh.
and they actually, what's the biggest advantage now as opposed to 10 years ago? I tell them biggest advantage is that the biggest dog in the office is willing to tell you all the secrets. It's social media, right? It's the age of there's no secrets anymore, right?
Nope.
And I tell them any questions you have, go to the top agent and ask them. They're probably going to tell you because most of them want to brag about themselves.
Yeah, they do.
But even in our world of investing, investors do the same now, right? They give you all their strategies, and it's just for free. So why not take advantage of that?
I love it.
It's no one. There's no this. We used to keep everything right here, cards close to the chest.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's like it's cool to tell everyone how you did it. It's not even considered bragging anymore, right? Everyone's he's bragging. Bragging. I'm willing to help you. I look at it like this. I think what you do, I think what we do, I think as much as we work, we're probably a little borderline crazy. But
I was working at 8 o'clock. I was working at 8 this morning on Sunday. So
oh yeah, it's a little borderline crazy. But at the end of the day, I tell everybody everything I do, so therefore they understand what it takes to get on top.
mm-hmm.
And I guess most of them they're like, I'm not doing that. I'm like that.
They ain't gonna do it.
I mean, like you look at a guy like Patrick, but David, like
I definitely ain't doing what he do.
You remember when we were? I always think of this, but you remember he said you have to be careful of what you want because what you want may not be willing. What you may not allow you to be willing to what it takes. Right?
Yeah.
You have to be willing to do what it takes
to get it.
What you want.
Mm-hmm.
So set your expectations accordingly.
That's
that
true.
man is absolutely batshit crazy.
He's insane. He's something off.
He's one of those guys. He's like that Elon Musk guy, right? Like there's insanity.
Insane.
Right? But he's insane.
I think he has a category for that, didn't he? Didn't he? What did he teach on that? Would be the best and would be great.
In the car, yes. It was I forget the word, but yes, that is him. But I don't want to I don't know if I want to be there. Like I enjoy spending time at home, playing some golf once in a while,
going to dinner,
just letting loose once in a while, But at the same time, I could be at my desk till 2:00 in the morning.
Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes.
Just last night I was there till 3:00 in the morning.
Good Lord!
I took a nap. I couldn't go to sleep. Go to work. The beauty of doing what we do is we can do that.
In real estate, I tell my kids all the time: if you like to make your own schedule, move around when you want, travel, have a kind of laid back lifestyle, real estate is for you. Denise wants to know, can you explain a short sale? Give him a real quick one, Dave.
Well, a short sale would be something like you own a home. You owe the bank $700,000. The home is only sellable for about $500,000. So you owe the bank more than the home is worth. You call that a short sale. So as opposed to the bank foreclosing the home on you, you work it out with the bank. You say, I'm going to sell it. However, the bank still has the last word to negotiate that purchase price with the investor or the homeowner, the next buyer. So although you own it, the buyer is negotiating directly with the bank, but it's typically for less than what you owe the bank, which is where the word short sale comes from, because it's short from the mortgage you owe. You could
Mhm.
owe 7, they can agree to sell it for 5, and then in between all of that, you have to figure out where the money comes for the attorneys, for the title company. Sometimes there's
Agents,
HOAs, back taxes,
relocation fees.
yeah, agent fees, and that can happen in 2 months. It can happen in 2 years. It all depends on the bank, who the asset manager is. The asset
Yep.
manager is the person that is in control of that particular asset for the bank.
Yep.
So, it depends on what time of year it is, whether it's a fiscal year for the bank, whether they're trying to turn for the investors inside the bank. There's so much that goes on with that. However, the short version is that you're buying it for less than what the individual that owns the home owes on the home.
Good one. Denise, I hope that helped you. In fact, we're having a short sale 3-day masterclass starting this Thursday. If you want to make sure you join that, there's a link right there below in the video description to join our email list. You want to make sure you're on that. Get on the email list so you don't miss this stuff. All of the trainings
That's
and
a great question, and I think that we're going to start seeing a lot more of those than people think.
you daggone right, Dave.
I mean, we're just talking about, like, I do mortgages. People are paying 12, 13,000 a month.
Let's talk about that, Dave.
That's just,
Let's
I
talk
mean,
about
it's just,
that, Dave.
I mean, people are buying big houses, big numbers, right? I always say it's not my. Even if I could afford that today, my fear is how long can I sustain it, right? Can I afford a hiccup in my life? Do I
Hmm.
lose my home, you know, at 12, 13,000 a month? What
Good
happens? Like,
God.
how much reserves do I have? How much reserves do I need to really, how much time of a gap can I, it's just,
Let's stay here for a minute, Dave. Let's just say 10,000 a month. Let's say 10,000 a month, right? That's 120 a year in mortgage payments.
no car
That's
payments, no insurance.
well, I mean, before that, this is post-tax dollars that someone has to pay for that.
Correct.
So if your mortgage is 120, what does a person like
You,
that have to be bringing in?
you gotta be, well, just to sustain the mortgage, not the rest of your life. I think most of those guys that I do that, they're pulling in 400,000 a year.
That's it.
400 more? Yeah. I mean, 400 minimum. 400 minimum.
That seems tight. Oh, this is that after tax, Dave, or per,
No,
oh,
that's 400. No, that's not pre-tax. No, that's gross.
yeah, Dave. Oh man, so
I'm
I
telling
don't
you.
know.
But remember, a lot of the people that are buying into those big homes, they're coming in with big money. I mean, I sometimes look at this and I say, I couldn't do it. And some of these kids are like 30-year-old kids. They're making big money right now, but it's, I always say, the security of your job is the job itself.
It could go away tomorrow.
Tomorrow you go to work and they're like, sorry, we have to cut your job. What do you do? You literally
Yeah,
have to go find another job that's bringing in 20,000 a month,
more than that, dude. Yeah,
25,000. I mean, it's to pay a $10,000 loan, you got to bring in 20,000 a month, 25,000.
that's the minimum. That would be minimum. When you got car note with bills,
Gas,
Dave.
light,
I got daycare. Then man,
life.
Dave, life. I mean, I just want to buy something from my office.
Yeah,
Dave, I told you, like, I'm gonna be transparent. My mortgage payment is 3 grand. Like, it just went down to 20, and I am nervous because I know how the tides can change on your ass so quick.
yeah,
And my mentor says, Chris, the good times are nothing but an opportunity for you to prepare for the bad times.
yeah. And it's funny because that's exactly how we live. It's like when there's good times, you're working so hard to create an abundance to be able to get back into the market because you know the bad times are coming.
Now, that's, in my opinion, that's a real G. Real G's, they know that it goes like this.
Yeah. You don't change your life. When you're doing well, yeah, maybe you treat yourself to, a couple things here and there
Mhm.
within reason, right?
Yeah.
I think the people that lose it are the people that just they think it's going to last forever. Nothing lasts forever,
Nothing.
right? I mean, when back in 2008, I mean, my brother and I saw people that were living like looked like we were broke the way they were living, and they lost it all, gone.
Yep. Me too.
You
It's so
know,
one. I think that's why I job with you and Dave. People will come visit me like, Chris, you living here? Why you living in 900 square feet with two kids and a wife? What's going on? I'm like, you know what? I knew in my mind 30% of my income goes to that more. I knew what I needed to be.
yeah, it's you get people, even people that don't have mortgages, like, oh, you need a mortgage that way you can have a write off.
That's the craziest shit I've
And
heard.
I get what you're saying, but
Not me.
I hear what you're saying. Let's just leave it like that.
Yeah. Call in. Let's take some questions. Give us a call. Anything you got for your business, anything you've got regarding a deal you're doing, you're looking to buy something, you got a tenant issue, call in, call on the line, get your questions in or type it in. Vince, hey, my boy Vince, I'm coming to you, brother. Hey, yo, says, how important would you say having a team on the come up? I guess as you're starting out. I don't
I
know.
mean, as far as creating a team is like contractors, and what type of team are we talking about?
Hey, yo, Marco, if you could be a little more specific on that so Dave can understand that, and we'll answer that question. Chump change, my boy Vince. How do you feel, Dave, about REIT investing, real estate investing, trusts, and what's the best you have seen? Yeah, I'm not qualified to talk about that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't do a lot of REITs. I do typically the REITs that I see people get into are because they're doing 1031 exchanges and they weren't able to identify properties within the proper time, as opposed to paying the taxes. You can transfer the money into a REIT, which is still considered a real estate investment, and then you're basically pushing the can down the road. But then it would also depend on how many times that you change that 1031. Because if you're on your third time, once you pull it out of there, you're paying the taxes as opposed to leaving it into a property and leaving it there.
Just leave
Right?
it there, dude.
So if that's the only time I see people that I work with utilizing REITs because they haven't been able to identify, especially in today's market with the lack of inventory.
Yeah. I hope that helps you, Vince. Chump change investing. I don't really know. We got an Instagram question here, Dave. The busy RDH says, if sellers don't disclose faulty appliances, what does the buyer do to recoup? Dum dum dum.
Well, yeah, exactly. People's court.
Dave, you're the expert. I'm not qualified to talk on this either because I don't give. Here's the thing: we got. That's why I love Dave. Dave, he can switch hats. Boom, boom,
Yeah,
boom.
exactly.
Investor, investor, investor. Broker, 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 broker. So talk about both
I
sides of that.
literally became a realtor because I couldn't stand dealing with them because I'm like, dude, it's Monday. I can't wait till Thursday.
I need this
How
today.
about tomorrow? I'll give you till tomorrow. I wanted to go today.
Yeah.
That's actually the reason I became an agent and broker, just to be able to utilize that for ourselves in the investment
Mhm.
side of it.
Good
Um,
question. Be busy.
but the question is, give me that question again. I'm sorry, I don't know. I
Oh
don't know.
yeah. If the seller doesn't fully disclose, let
Oh,
me pin that.
so there is something called a seller's disclosure.
Say that again.
There's something called a seller's disclosure, right? So the seller should, especially with all of the new rules and regulations that NAR just came out with,
Mhm.
they're making every single seller sign a seller's disclosure. That seller's disclosure has 200 questions on it, and part of it is the appliances. So they'll ask for the age of the appliances. Do the appliances work? Have they been repaired? So on and so forth. So if they were working when you bought the home, then they are considered to be working. After you buy the home, there's not much of a recourse unless you can prove that the seller specifically did something to to the appliance and it was damaged prior, and they basically put like a band-aid on it just long enough for it to last.
Mhm.
So I would tell you to if you're going to be buying a home and you're that concerned about appliances and things of that nature, get yourself a home warranty, or have the seller pay for the home warranty, which is typically about 500-600 bucks.
Yeah.
It covers you for 13 months. So if anything happens to your furnace, your drain lines, your appliances, stoves, refrigerators, ovens, anything of that nature, plus there's a whole slew of other things that gets covered, you don't pay for it. There's like $100 payment that you would have to make,
Yeah.
However, if the appliance is a $2,500 appliance, they install it and finish it at no cost, other than
Got
the $100.
Yeah, if I was an owner occupied and I was doing deals, I wouldn't even buy a house without a home warranty. That way, at least you try to get some of the money back.
Yeah, yeah.
Kylie 27, do is another Instagram question. Guys, get your questions in. Call in directly. Get your questions. Do you buy expensive properties if you don't make too much of a return on them?
That for you or for me?
I'll let you take that. I don't do expensive properties.
We typically don't. My brother and I are we sometimes C make them B's or B's make them A's. We like to be in the medium uh, position of life or finances for most people. We just feel, and this is something we've always done, we just feel like there's more people in that category that can afford what it is we're renting at the time. Therefore, as opposed to having five people look at your property for rental, there's 40 people, 30 people.
There you
So we
go.
like to be in that bigger category of where people it's most affordable for people.
Affordable housing ain't going nowhere. I've been here
So
since
I
the
mean,
beginning.
we have properties that are worth, as Chris said, a lot of money. However, there's also a lot of units inside that property. It's not one property.
Yeah.
I mean, there's one property, but there's several doors inside that property. I guess I should go say.
Dave, Kylie 27 also wants to know. He says his neighbor or she, I can't tell here. Sorry, Kylie. Neighbor's going into foreclosure. Is there a way for him or her to buy it without the homeowner knowing?
Yeah,
Go to the auction. They
yeah.
won't know.
You can go to the step and you can buy it.
They damn sure enough ain't gonna know if you bid it. You go to the courthouse steps. And bid.
They'll be standing there to see who bought the house and be like, "That son of a bitch is my neighbor." I've seen that happen actually, but
Oh
uh,
no,
I mean, why
that's
not
rough.
just you're? I guess this goes back to what you and my brother oftenly talk about is we're here to help people. Remember that just because you're an investor doesn't mean that you're taking advantage, right?
Actually helping people.
We're helping people, right? Anyone that is losing their home, it's unfortunate, right? It's not what we want. It's not what we like to hear. But just like we don't like to hear it, the person dealing with it doesn't like to deal with it either.
No.
So if you do have any type of relationship with that person, I would just say, hey, listen, I'm an investor.
Yeah.
I was looking, online, scouring the internet as I do on a daily basis,
Yep.
and I happened to see your home.
Just
I
happened to see.
don't know if it was a mistake, but if it's not, I'd like to help you. Start with the
Yeah.
words, me helping you. If you can help them, they're going to be more susceptible to listen to what you're saying as opposed, hey, I heard your house is in foreclosure. Can I buy it? That's probably not going to work.
No.
Right? Come across, genuine
Empathetic.
and you know, you with some sympathy, and if it is true, I'm sorry to hear that, but if it is true, I want to let you know I can help you. Right?
Good. Good
And
answer.
then you get into what that looks like. But maybe you don't have to. I think a lot of people have that mindset, right? Like they're so scared, like you feel embarrassed for the person, and therefore you don't want to go to the person.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you're helping them, right? If they go to foreclosure, they absolutely lose that house,
Hmm.
right? Unless they have a plan. At the end of the day, they're leaving that house.
They are.
They are whether they leave today or they leave tomorrow, they are leaving that house. Now, when they leave with nothing in their pocket. So if you can help them and put something in their pocket and allow them to move at their pace, that's probably where you're going to be most valuable to them.
Wow, Dave, you are really talking. Y'all, could you give Dave a thumbs up? Smash that thumbs up down there. Let me know where my round up peoples is coming from. Put your name in the chat there, your name and your city. Dave, you are talking. I hope the people are really taking what you put down because I used to think when I went, a lot of times when I'm talking to somebody in foreclosure, I'm thinking about me being them. But now I'm like, I know for 100% certainty I can, if we can strike a deal, I can help these people because I know I've got the money lined up. I've got resources. I've got people. I've got everything that they need. But all I need them to do is just to talk to me. That's it. If you just open up and talk to me, we can figure something out.
Yeah, and a lot of times it doesn't happen. They say things don't happen overnight, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes things like that don't happen the first round, right? You have the relationship, allow people to let you in, and feel comfortable with telling you their story,
Yeah.
because whatever story it is, whether it's their fault or not, it's an embarrassing position
Yes, you
as a
go.
human being, right? So humble is big, and yes, we want the deal, but remember something: you're always helping them. You're
Mhm.
helping them. They're gonna walk away with nothing, or they're gonna walk away with something.
That's right. So, Deborah, one of our channel members, guys, there's a link below too. If you would be so kind to join our channel, it's going to cost you nothing but a Starbucks coffee a month to help me bring people like Dave on here to bring the game and help you get your next piece of real estate. Dave, we got 45 people on here right now,
That's awesome.
plus Instagram, another 10. Deborah, Deborah wants to know what is fiduciary responsibilities. I'll
What
read
does
it
it
along. You
mean?
want to?
Is she asking what it means?
Yeah, what is fiduciary responsibility? I got my
You gonna give
Barron's
us
real
a
estate guide
dictionary
here. I can
version
read
of
it
it?
too. That's a great question, Deborah, because a
It is
lot of people don't know that Dave, you got a big fiduciary responsibility
huge.
when you're dealing with these crazy ass sellers and buyers.
Yes.
You can't just go in there and do whatever you want. Let me read it.
So,
Go
as
ahead.
a fiduciary, is your first position. So, if I'm representing the seller hires me to sell their home. My fiduciary is always to the seller. Even if I represent the buyer, my first fiduciary is the seller. I do have a fiduciary responsibility with the buyer as well. However, my fiduciary is the seller. They were the first to hire me for that home.
Let me read what the definition of my Barron's guide is, Dave. Fiduciary responsibility is one who acts, like Dave acts as a broker, in a legal note or otherwise in the best interest of another person. Example number one, broker. Fiduciary for the seller or buyer. Banker, an attorney, or trustee. So we hire trustees for all of our trusts. So Dave can't go in there and make the best deal for him. That's why I never understood. And that's no shade to wholesalers that are realtors. How can you? I never understood. How can a realtor wholesale a deal when aren't they supposed to? You know what? I guess if they get the best situation for whatever, it doesn't mean the best money. I guess they're just giving the best situation for the seller, and if that means that I'm going to make a realtor fee and a wholesale fee, then it's okay.
Well, it's so a lot of people they don't want to deal with realtors. So what we do is we present one of my agents go in and present it as we can sell your home for X amount of dollars
One
on
hat.
the market.
Mhm.
However, when we do that, you will be responsible for going through inspections, which a lot of these homes are really not the best homes to be inspected, right? You're definitely going to find things.
You don't
Or,
want that.
oh, I don't want that. I don't want people coming through the house, or a lot of times they have tenants that aren't paying rent, so they're not letting them in either.
Mhm.
So say, okay, well, if you don't want to go that route, we can help you another route. We can bring in private investors, and investors will buy the home, and that's it. So you just pay me a commission for bringing you the investor, but it won't go to the market. Now, understand that when you do that, you're going to take less.
So
To
you're
your
explaining it all to them.
Yeah, you're not going to get it's so there's nothing illegal about it. What becomes illegal and what the biggest argument that NAR had was that people don't explain.
Double
Okay,
talking,
people are in it for themselves.
switching the
You
role.
cannot, as a broker, you are here to help and facilitate. Yes, you get paid for it, but you can't be in it for that. If you're in it for that, you'll be out of this business before you know
Isn't it
it.
weird how you can't work for money to really be successful? Isn't that the weirdest?
But you know what though, Chris? When you actually finally get it, you can't stop the money.
It's crazy.
But once you get that we all work for money, but that's not the reason we're working, right? You have to have a why in what you do.
It falls out of the
And if
sky.
your why is for the money, it's
It ain't gonna work. You ain't gonna last.
never gonna work.
You
You're
won't
gonna
last.
be a one-hit wonder. Right? You're gonna be in, you're gonna be out, you're gonna sell a cup because all of that comes through. People are not stupid. right? It's I
So
literally
true.
just had one this today, and I said they want to make put in an offer. I says I'll do that, but I'm letting you know it's not going to work, and you're probably so if you're willing to lose the deal over $50,000, then that's fine. I mean, it's a $2 million deal, so for $50,000, it's like, I mean, it's not even a 50. You just want to feel like you paid 50 less.
Mm,
So if I come back to you and tell you that you lost it, but now that since you played the game and there's been 4 or 5 days of negotiating, someone else came in and it's going to cost
mm.
you 100 more because that person's willing to pay more. So you have to pay more, right? So that to me is explaining to people. I don't need them to pay $50,000 more to collect more in commissions or for the seller to make more. I'm telling you the truth. However, I make suggestions. You make decisions, right? Here's my suggestion. If that's
Hmm.
still good for you, I'll carry on the way you want. But if we lose, you can't come back to me and tell me that it was my fault.
And you got to know when to make it. Like I tell people, so many times, like I don't want the best killer deal on every one. I'm like, I'm gonna give you what I think is fair. This is what I can do. If I can give you 100,000, what you want, cool. I mean, I'm to the point now. Like, this is what I can do. If you want it, take a
Yeah,
look. I'm
and
not gonna.
Chris, that's the best way. I mean, when we're buying, it's you as a buyer, you as an investor, you need to know where your threshold is, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes you have some flexibility, but once you get to that point, you don't chase the deal. You
Mm-mm.
have to let it go. If it comes back,
You got
so
to
be
let
it.
it
If
go.
not, you just wait for the next one. But you know, a lot of times, my brother and I, we pay market value. And I used to tell him, and my brother, he's like, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, listen, if this market continues the way this goes, and I mean, we're turning over so many units back then, we're creating the market ourselves.
You are the market.
Yeah, I told him, today's market is tomorrow's deal, right? So people look at, they're like, oh my God,
That's deep.
is that what you paid for that condo 2 years ago? I'm like, yeah, but don't you remember you're the same guy that told me I was nuts? You're the same person said I was crazy. Now you're like, I'm a genius because they're looking at what it is 2 years later, right? And they're like, wow, you got a great deal on that. No, I didn't.
No, no,
I
just
paid the market price.
it's weird, Dave. I remember when I was buying houses many years ago. People told me I was crazy. I bought a townhouse for 97,000. People thought I was stupid, and I felt like a schmuck. And now I look at it as worth a quarter million, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
it's like,
who is this schmuck
what's
now?
the smug now? Well, it's hey,
Just
listen, misery loves company, right?
that's right. What specific things do you look for in an investment property? Dave, hold on before you answer that. That's a million things you could say.
I was
Let's
about
talk
to
about a
say,
flip. Let's talk about a flip. Forget all because you got a million different, obviously, strategies that orbit around an acquisition. So let's just talk about a flip.
if we're looking at a flip, I'm always looking at the location of the flip. Right, where
Location.
is the flip? um, Proximity to highways, schools, shopping, things like that. Um, how quickly are the homes in that area, or like homes in that area? How quickly are they turning?
Market time.
Right. How much work is needed in that particular property, because that will determine how much time it takes, and time is money. So the longer you have it, that also opens the window. Like, and some people say I'm crazy to say this, but this market's not promised to anyone, right? That we've been striving for over 10 years now, and the merry-go-round's got to stop.
Just got to stop, Dave.
So if you're getting into this, depending on the size of the flip, how long it takes for the build out, and what does it look like? Are you in it for 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, 3 months? You have to there's you got to look at that, because if the market turns, any profit you may have made would be lost and then some. So those are the things that I look. I mean, even houses at 3,000 square feet, we kind of walk through based on square footage, how many bathrooms, kitchen. We kind of, within 40 minutes we pretty much know what it's going to cost, right? Because we do this so often and we use the same guys all the time. But there's a million things to look at when you. That's a couple of them, I should say. Right? It's like,
Oh, that's cool. It's so weird. My gauge or my leniency, my tendency for looking over a lot of stuff. I look even when I watch my own videos. I'm like, I'm looking at myself like, damn, Chris, you didn't even look in that closet right there.
yeah,
I'm already anticipating this shit's messed up.
exactly. Well, you take everything to its worst case scenario, right? It's like
Yeah,
there's an air conditioner that's probably going to have to be changed.
yeah, six
Roof,
grand.
yeah, you're going to change the roof. Because especially when you're doing a flip, right? A lot of people, I think the biggest mistake people make is they look at a property and they're like, you know what? I'm just going to do ABC.
Hmm.
And then what they miss is that once you do that, you realize how bad everything else looks, right? So you need to do it all, you don't do it.
Just do
Right?
it all, man.
Yeah, just do it
Spend the
all.
money.
Yeah, because your return is going to be faster and greater.
You're always gonna look. Well, let me tell you, I always lost when I tried to save money, Dave. Did you?
Absolutely. Oh, always
Every time.
because you're limiting the market. You're limiting the market. There's no. I always say, like we buy a property, right, and the house next door is a little messy, or their shrubs are overgrown on the side, and the landscaper would say to me, like, "Is this your house?" I say, "Listen, my friend, no one is ever going to get mad at you for cleaning.
Nope.
Just do it. Just
Just
clean
do
it.
it.
If they come out, come get me. But they're never going to be upset with you for cleaning up."
Nope. Just do it. Cut
Yeah,
the neighbors.
just
We've built fences. I've had to paint how. I mean,
exactly.
cleaned roofs.
Because if everything you're noticing, so is the next person going to,
Yeah.
right? So it's just do it. Just
Got a
do it.
question from Instagram from OQD LLC. If you buy a slow flip house worth 330K, slow flip, Dave, is going to
What's slow
be
flip? Is that
that's a
six months?
contract for deed.
Okay.
If you buy a slow flip for 300K, it's worth. I mean, I'm sorry. If you buy it, it's worth 300, but you buy it for 90 with a tenant living there on a rent to own
It's worth
already.
300. You buy it for 90.
That's a smoker already. Can you sell the property 300,000 to someone else so now they can be the bank?
You'd probably never even touch that property. You just turn it over.
You turn it over. You probably make a quick 100, right? Just sell it
Yeah,
to somebody
just
else, be the bank.
turn it over. I mean, that's pretty much what we're doing now.
I would do that.
There's certain properties you leave the meat on the bone for someone else to do the
Leave it
work.
on there. Let them get it.
Never. I tell everybody, don't ever be upset with a profit.
I hear you say that in my mind a
You
lot.
could make 30, 40 grand, take that money, easy money, and you go
I hear
move it
you say
somewhere
that,
else.
Dave,
It's
a
just,
lot.
I mean, within reason, right? I'm saying 30, 40,
I
maybe it's
know.
50, I mean, maybe it's
Yeah.
80. But the point is, I mean, I'm turning one for 80 and we're in it for, we're not even in contract yet. I mean, but we literally will be in contract on Mondays, final docs. I have it sold already. Um, but
Market's
the
hot.
property's worth probably 850, selling it for 7.
Oh, wow.
So,
Is
but
that the one that Dan was y'all negotiated? Is that the one y'all were negotiating a few weeks back?
no, that was a different one.
Okay.
That was a different one. That one was still negotiating it.
Still?
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
That's a slow pace
I
negotiation.
call it a slow dance.
Yeah, it's slow
You
dance.
got to be, people think this today,
But
the
listen,
slow
80 is not an everyday dance, right? This is a home run. Last home run might have been 6 months ago, and in between we got a bunch of base hits.
base
So even
hits.
20, 30, 10, you know what I mean? There's some deals you're only going to get 10 out of it.
Move on. Move
You know
on.
what I mean? It's if that's your game.
James Beatty says, when do you start the process for eviction? Do you deal with the rentals, Dave, or is that all
Dan
Dan?
really typically deals with that, but I mean, you're
You
lucky.
don't know. You don't even have to evict nobody. Y'all evicted anybody?
Yeah, Dan. Yeah, we don't. My brother is so beyond
OCD.
OCD with who he picks. He is a pure master of that. I tell him all the time, I would never rent one of our apartments from you.
I
I
would
gotta
never rent from Dan
Oh,
Borrero.
listen, if you're lucky enough to get in, he is the best landlord as far as like dropping what he's got to do to get to you and make sure that you pay for a service that we're responsible to provide. That's how we look at it. but no one does it better than him. No one's going to pick a better. I have my own personal properties that I purchased for my kids' college fund. My brother handles them. I tell him, you pick my tenants. I don't have the patience for it. But if there's a crack in their armor, he will find it.
You call him a master. I call him an a-hole.
Oh, yeah. Well, you have to be sometimes, but he enjoys it.
He does enjoy it.
He really enjoys it. But
And
that's what makes him so good at it.
It is make him good. You're right. Oh, he wants to know, should he sell it or keep it? Yeah, I would sell it. Yeah.
I mean, that's a quick turn. Yeah.
I move on. M. Smith, what advice do you have for one who has capital in an expensive market in NYC and you feel frustrated due to being at a standstill? This is it, y'all. Final word, the home stretch. Last.
I mean,
would you tell them to get out of town? Because I don't invest. You guys doing it. You've been around.
So much property in New York City,
but you ain't buying now, though, Dave.
No, right. So that was what I was about to say. We have so much property in New York City, and if you listen to my brother Dan Borrero and Chris all the time when they're talking, he tells you we are not touching anything. The rules and regulations, municipalities in New York City are so far away from investors. Good luck trying to get someone out of your property. There's not enough housing in the city of New York. Right now, to try and evict someone in New York, you're lucky if you see a judge in 8 months.
What does that look like, Dave? Is it the dockets backed up? Do you have to get an attorney? I can't
it's the dockets that are backed up, but worse than that, when a tenant shows up, they're going to say, do you have an attorney or you don't? Okay, well, here's a court-appointed attorney.
You got to be represented in what?
Oh, they don't. No, they don't. However, if they don't have an attorney, the courts will appoint them an attorney. What? And then the attorney goes up and says, I've been appointed to them as their attorney. However, I need to be brought up to speed. So can we do this in 2 months? And then the judge says, well, the earliest is 3 months. Now you're lucky if you actually get a real hearing in a year. New York is insane. And all the taxes and what they're asking to do with gas lines, and it's the things they ask for in New York is just not for the investor.
Yeah, that's crazy.
My suggestion to you, if you live in New York, is stay if you want, but invest somewhere else.
Good for you. Okay, M. Smith, I heard you. So I hope you heard that. OQD LLC wants to know if you want to put up some of the money on that deal for that $90K.
Do I want? Well, I'll tell you what. I'll give you my information. You can send this to us, and we'll analyze.
Yeah, we'll look at it. I'm not mad at any deal here, as long as it makes sense. OQD, just send Dave a direct message. Send me a direct message. We'll take a look at it. We come up with $60K and see what you got on that. I'll be interested in taking a look at that. OQD LLC.
What state is it in?
OQD LLC. What state is this property in? He's on Instagram, so he's not being ported in into the system. Guys, you got a few more minutes. Call in 757-204-1332. Get your questions answered. We're going to be out of here in about 5 minutes.
So, Chris, I see you've been doing a lot on as far as repairs, and you have one that you're getting ready to put back on the market, right?
Yeah, well, we always got something. We got one. Down here in Virginia Beach, it's smoking. Markets
smoking everywhere.
I got 4 offers. I listed a house. I got 4 offers the first day.
Chris, it is insane, isn't it?
And you know what's crazy? I feel guilty. I feel guilty. This is my personality when I see the interest rates go down, because I know what I want to curse. I know what these fools are doing. I don't know what they're doing. In my mind, I'm like, all they're doing is creating of this
urgency.
That's it. What, dude? You've been doing longer than me, Dave. What does your mind say when you see interest rates lowered 0.5 point?
It's crazy because even when they were up at 8, we were selling, and the market started to slow down a little bit. And I think it's because now that people see the rates are coming down, they're waiting to see how far they can come down. It's like when the stock market comes down, like it takes a big hit. like 1,000 points or something.
Yeah.
They're like, well, I'm gonna wait till tomorrow and see if it gets hit again. And then they start seeing it going up, and it's up 200 points,
Oh
and then they
no.
jump in. I'm like, dude, why didn't you just jump in when it was at 1,000? But
Mm.
you know, it's funny because all the mortgage brokers used to say, marry the home, date the rate. And as cliche as that sounds, it makes so much sense because when the rates were higher, the homes were pretty much settled in.
Hmm.
Now that the rates are going down, we just did one for 150,000 over asking price.
Oh my God, Dave.
Yeah, it's and
I'm
let me tell you, it is crazy, Chris. Do you know what we're doing now when the house is really, really, really buttoned up? I
what?
mean, we come in, we do full blown videos, like action videos. They have like backyards and stuff. We have a whole production comes in. We have these kids come in, they're playing. We have them grilling, and then they do the day, and then they do the evening videos. So you see what life is like living in that home.
Mm.
So we put that out.
Mm.
When we do Friday, Saturday, Sunday, open house, no showings. On Monday, highest and best offer.
Oh gosh, that's nasty.
There's literally in one weekend we can get 100 people walk through the door.
I'm glad I'm not a buyer.
Oh, let me tell you, I always say I don't think I'm going to be moving for a long time. I don't want to go through it.
Isn't it weird? Like we buy every day, but I'm not a buyer. Like
No,
I'm
yeah,
let me phrase this up for y'all. I'm telling y'all this because I love you. I don't get sold houses. We buy
good
houses.
buying houses. Yeah,
No one can sell me shit. You
yeah.
can't come to me. Isn't it weird to say, I got this house. It's 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom. It's right by XYZ. You're gonna love it. The backyard is this. I'm like, dude, I don't give a hill of beans. Tell me about the seller and the numbers. That's all
Yeah.
I care about.
Give me the numbers. Yeah, this is
That's all.
just a house. It's not. It's
I
just not.
love it.
Yeah.
And I want people watching this to understand that these characters you see on the screen have been molded and crafted and chiseled into these guys. Because I used to watch guys like you, Dave, and I would admire your lack of emotion for property. Your lack of when you're looking at property, and it's like you don't care one bit whether you buy it or you don't buy it.
Yeah.
And that is a skill that I just admire. And I wanted, I'm like, I remember why. I'm like, I want that. I want that. Because most new investors and younger investors, they get so excited.
One more under my belt.
One more
I,
deal.
I always tell people, we don't need it. We just want it. But I don't need it. Like my life's not going to change if I don't buy
This
it,
house ain't gonna change
but
nothing.
I want it. And
Yeah.
if we can work something out, then your needs become my wants, and we have a deal.
I heard
You
you
need
say
to
that
sell
before.
it. I just want to buy it. So
Your
let's work
needs are my wants. I love it.
it
All right. Oh, last question. Would you buy more? Would you buy Deborah, one of our members? Would you buy for a family member and just give it to them? Let's say a house that's 80K and is nice. That's a good question. Dave, would you do that?
Would I buy a home for a family member that's worth 80? I mean, I would absolutely. If
That ain't a bad deal.
I have no problem giving people that need, but I have a problem giving people that feel like they need because they foolishly spent the money that they had.
Yeah, that's a
Because
lot.
if I look at someone that had the clear ability to purchase that home for $80,000 and hung out every day and did everything they shouldn't have done, made enough money to be able to buy it, but made choices in life that did not enable them to do so, I would not buy that home for them. But if they were truthfully in need, I would have no problem with
You sound like Dan Borrero.
that. He's my brother.
He always talk about people he knows that have these expensive cars and they spend all the. I guess you guys know the same people, I'm presuming.
Yeah, but at the same time, listen, everyone spends their money as they wish.
What they want, right?
Yeah, I think that if you make enough money to buy that car and that's your decision and that's how you want to live, I say good for you. I I'm mad at you because I can't do that.
Me neither.
Not because I cannot physically write a check for it. They're financing it, and I can write a check for it. But
Three times.
yeah,
Three times over.
it's not that. It's not that. I just my mind
Won't let you.
just can't write that check. I remember I was like, one day I'm going to buy a Lamborghini. One day I'm going to buy a nice Porsche. I have a nice car. I live nicely. I'm not saying I don't, but I just can't.
Can't make yourself
There's
do
two
it.
reasons why at this point in my life I won't. I'm like, that's one less property I can buy. And B, I don't want people looking at me
Yeah.
and saying, this guy has gotten too far.
Yeah. You got to be
You know what I mean?
careful.
Because you know how there's a lot of people that say they're happy for you when they're not.
Yeah.
And I like to stay under the radar always. Humble is always
There you go.
the best thing to do. I guess I don't need that anymore to prove my success. I've done it already. I've proven it to myself. I always say no one's harder than me on me. People call me names. I'm like, dude, you're so far behind, dude. I kicked myself in the ass today as soon as I woke up. As soon as I woke up, I kicked myself in the ass. You're late. I cursed myself out. I told myself how horrible I am. You're late.
It's funny you say that about not, Dave, I don't say this a lot, but a lot of the case studies you'll see me do on videos, I don't tell the true profit. I don't want people to know, like, we might make 4 times the amount on the flip because I just want people to know that it's
doable.
It's doable. Like if I tell you I'm making 130 grand,
don't seem attainable, right?
there you go, Dave. There you go.
You gotta stay within reason for the mind of the individual that's in front of you, right? Otherwise, you lose them.
I don't want to lose them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. A roundup. Much love to you. And make sure you share this with other people that want to get into the real estate business. And we have the short sale training coming up this week. And you can find that information. I'll put that in the description below. Or if you're on Instagram, just comment short or go to my link bio. Dave, where can people get in touch with you if they want to do business with you too?
You can check. You can, I guess, what do you want to do? Instagram. Borrero Group.
Do you reply? You check that stuff?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm on there all the time.
We don't be really checking that stuff all the time.
Yeah, I live on that Borrero Group on Instagram.
Okay.
You can go to our website. It's Borrero Group Sells NJ. You can get me there.
Do something.
So yeah.
All right. I'll see you in the next video, Roundup family. Peace.
Yes, thank you. Peace, guys. Enjoy.